All right, we got Mr. Rippon, aka Pete, for episode 5 of the CBJ
Nice.
Bodybuilding Radio. Pete, thanks for coming on, man.
No
If
pleasure.
people don't know you, how long have you been coaching bodybuilding? How long have you been in the space?
Ooh, full time. This will be over a decade.
Okay.
Um, I had background in corporate, um, where struggling to, but I had a background in corporate for 14 years, and probably 8 years into that, decided that I wanted to get into fitness. So I had I would say, an escape plan to get out. So for the people that know me, because I try to keep most of my life private, I'm a family man, got older kids now, so a 19-year-old, soon to be 16, and a 12-year-old. So had to make sure that a lot of that stuff was going to get taken care of going into the fitness industry. If you are trying to get into the fitness industry, you obviously have to be aware that it's not all roses in terms of workload and whatnot. So to answer your question, it's been over a decade full time coaching. Probably a good 5 years prior to that. I was
Yeah.
doing bits and pieces before fully committing to this space, and kind of have a look back. So
How
there you go.
many bodybuilding seasons have you done now?
Ooh, I'm going to count: one, two, five,
5? Okay. Over 10 years as well, or a bit
five.
longer?
This, yeah, five. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It would have been 2013, 15, 16.
Yep.
Oh, I might have been more. 2017, 19, and then yeah, it's been 5 seasons at least.
Cool. And a fair few shows
Yeah,
as well. I know I've
yeah,
seen a video of your, I'm gonna say, I don't even know what they call them anymore, but like a little, uh, sort of not a house, but like a garret, a shed out the back, something like that at your place with
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
all
I've got
your silverware.
yeah, 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 which is now here, I think. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's there now.
We got the setup.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
So they were
I
sitting
need
in,
to get some myself.
yeah. Well, to give you a little bit of context, that was all that stuff was sitting in boxes, and I'll tell you why. I'm one of these people that I don't, even the way it's set up, I try not to look at anything in terms of achievements, because I feel like you lose an edge if you see things that you achieve, if that makes sense. I know it's going to sound dumb, but I also even thrive in someone telling me that I can't do something.
Mm,
I'm very stubborn
mm,
that way.
yeah.
So, but yeah, that was sitting in the garage for a good minute until I brought it in here. So my wife's like, "You need to clean the garage." So, yeah, they're here right now.
My Wi-Fi just decided to have one of those like privacy issues. Like
Yeah, right.
this, server is not private. It's like, when has it never not been private? Why is this an issue now? Ah,
It needed
fuck.
time on its own.
Ah, man. Okay. Yeah, it's really. I've heard so many people gone from an office job to a PT. It's actually pretty.
Yeah,
I think it's more common than people realize. You see an older
yeah,
PT, not to say
yeah.
that you're old Pete, but someone who's
Whoa.
had another life in another job.
Yeah.
And yeah, they end up in a gig like that. What did you have to think
Yeah.
about to take that jump? Because that would have been a little bit of a conversation, right?
Yeah, no, look, I have the best wife. She's kind of understanding, yeah, we what I wanted to do, and was all in on it. I guess the consideration was, how do we take care of everything, um, from obviously financially, lifestyle, and just really think about how I was going to make it work, um, around everything. So, look, I was very, as I said, I had almost a 4, probably even longer kind of escape plan if I use that. Even the last year before I'd left, I just made sure I made all my targets. Um, got a good kind of wicket that year to they'd go, hey, year one, I could be not making much. And then kind
Yeah.
of obviously know they had to build something up from the ground up, which honestly, after about 3 months, I'm like, nah, I'll make this work. So honestly, also think the job that I was in helps me in the job I'm in now.
Was it a sales role before?
It was, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a sales role, and you know this, Jacob, with PTing and coaching and whatnot. It's you build relationships, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, um, yeah, it's definitely helped me a lot in this job, and it helps with structure, and it's just dealing with different personalities and people. Yeah.
And what did the
So,
first 3 months look like? Obviously started at zero and
yeah. So I did initially call on my network. So I started doing a lot of corporate stuff. Um, to start off with. So I had done like outdoor boot camp style stuff, where I was taking groups from advertising agencies and training them in the park. Um, did some coaching there, and obviously I started getting into the comp space. So I did started kind of taking one or two clients that maybe wanted to get into that, and then it was then getting involved in different things like if the ICM would have a workshop, hey, can I be involved in that? Hey, coach over here, like if you ever need me to kind of help you with any of that stuff, can I kind of sit in like almost like a apprenticeship mentorship type scenario? So I just wanted to be a sponge in that first 3 months, knowing that I didn't know anything other than I like to train and I like to kind of help people. And then you kind of just develop from there. So now I don't do any outdoor stuff. But at that time I was doing a lot of it. So my business name, if I don't, it's still Rippon Fitness, but I live on a street called Rippon Avenue. So the name came from, hey, I started everything here. I've got people coming to my house. It's fitting to kind of just use that as our starting point, and that's
yeah,
where the namesake came from too. Yeah. So there you go.
that's pretty cool. It's always cool to have a name been formed and generated from something that actually has like a meaning, and it's been
Yeah.
and it all that would have
Yeah.
almost come about by itself, right? Like, did you have to think much about the name or?
No, no, not at all. Yeah. It,
Yeah,
it was like, oh, cool. Like I don't want it Pete's Fitness. Yeah.
yeah, call it PT,
Yeah. Yeah.
PT for Pete.
There you go. Yeah. PT for me.
And how many comps had you done before you went down that road? Any?
Yeah. It would have been 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was that like
Yeah.
juggling a sales corporate type role and bodybuilding?
I would say it was easy. Yeah. When I say easy, obviously comp prep is never easy.
Mm.
But the structure that I had at my workplace, and it's funny you say that you know this as a bodybuilder. I'm like, get to work, I've had my breakfast, and then everyone will see me eat at my desk, and then go if I had time at lunch, I'd go train, and then they'll be like, "Are you eating again?" Like, so I had this kind of routine set around my job that allowed me. Again, I was at that job for a very long time, so I would say I was in a position where I could do these things and weren't questioned because I was still getting the runs on the board. So I would say it was easy. It was also made easy with a family that was kind of supportive around it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you had your stripes and you were able to get a
yeah,
bit more flexibility. Like when I worked at a butcher shop, I'd get half an hour break and I split it up into 2 15 minutes. Were
the
they
tea,
probably 2 15 minutes? That probably borderline 20. So, I
yeah,
got a little bit extra, but my boss was happy to just give me that little bit extra time so I can get 2 meals in across the work day. But
yeah,
they were like scoff down the food as quick as possible and just get back in and start working and work harder, knowing that you probably pushed the 15-minute break a little bit.
yeah. Well, interestingly enough, I feel now it's harder to do a bodybuilding lifestyle as a coach, right?
Yeah,
Because I'm in front of people often. I also want to get my own training in. Then I've got little time to then also be in front of people again or do my check-ins and whatnot. So I'd say it's a little bit more challenging in that sense, although I do have more control of my time. It does get challenging if I'm still trying to juggle a business while prepping, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Is it the fact that you've got more, or is it the fact that you've got more control of your time, that it's you that has to, put the boundaries in place so you get your time? Is that what you're sort of getting at?
Yeah. And I think I also, and we offline earlier, we said like the word people pleasing, but I genuinely hate saying no to people in terms
Yeah.
of, hey, let's do it. Can I do a session with you today or whatnot? And I'm like, well, I set that time for myself, but yeah, sure, let's come in. So I'm a little bit still finding it hard to say no at times where I've found time and I've taken it back, but I've given it back. Yeah. So yeah.
And there's definitely moments where you need to be more like that. You need to just say yes, be in a bit more of that scarcity mindset. But
Yeah.
I mean, if I was you, I think I had certain things I had cut off periods where it was going out for breakfast and eyeballing things. I just get like two eggs and a bit of sourdough and some avocado,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
pretty easy to eyeball. There's no added oil or anything, so like it's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
pretty easy to work in. And I said, all right, once I get to 10 weeks out, that's going out the window. I just can't be
Yeah.
bothered to do that anymore. I just want to lock in and have my mentality and my mind at ease that I know I'm not leaving anything on the table, so to speak. Have you
Yeah.
drawn any lines like that for yourself, or?
Dude. Yeah. Anyone that knows me, I'm very hyper obsessive in terms of like, this is my task. This is what I've set out to do. You can't change my mind, type stuff. So recently went on a holiday to Vietnam and Japan, and I could probably say that was, I wouldn't say it was hard, but it was definitely difficult to not wanted to break out of that diet
Yeah,
mode, knowing
yeah.
somewhat delicious cuisines that were present in front of me. Um,
I can attest
but
the Asian
but
food is pretty good. I went from
yeah, so
87 to 91 in a week, so I
there
can
you go.
attest to it.
Uh, but yeah, so in that time, being away, I ended up dropping about 2 kg, stuck to my diet, got plenty of steps in. So I would say that I draw lines often, and I'm very good at sticking to my guns. And because I've done it so long, and the people around me know how I am with these kind of things, it's not even a question anymore. In terms of, hey, can you come out tonight? Or whatnot. And when I say come out, they realize that if I do want to involve myself in the dinner or whatnot, I will. And if I don't, they also know that
Yeah,
I'll stay away from it. Yeah.
yeah. And I like that because, I mean, for me, I've only recently come to the position where I've accepted this is the way I want to do things, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, and I don't need other people's approval, or I don't need, Peter, if you're my coach, I don't need you to tell me that it's okay to be like that. Like that's my decision. And
Yeah.
only recently I've sort of gone, okay, I want to do this, this is how I want to live. Like I want to get my 8.5 hours of sleep, 9 hours in bed a night if I
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
and eat my meals if I want to. Like it's my choice. I'm not
Yeah.
influenced by anyone else. And I feel maybe some younger people coming up, I struggled with it. Like I almost needed that comp prep excuse to stick to the be a bit more nutritionally adherent. Um,
Yeah.
but being around people like yourself, being around Brandon when we were away in Thailand, it was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. You can choose to just do what you want, and
Yeah.
no one really has a say in it. And yeah, it's got to be a personal choice, though.
Yeah. It's interesting because my kids always pay out on me. Like I'm like, oh, we're gonna go and have burgers or whatnot, and I end up choosing like a chicken burger, chicken breast burger. So they go, Dad, just let it go. But then they do it jokingly, knowing that I'm pretty wide to stay on track.
Mm.
But there's this comment. I wouldn't say a common joke, but back to your point about sleep. So if we've got a party at my house, let's just say everyone's still there at 10 o'clock. You'll see me get up at about 9:45, start saying bye to people.
And you go off to bed.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
go off to bed. Yeah, and
same
it's
as me,
always a
man.
joke. Like, yeah. Ah, yeah. And like, I'll be like, "What time is it?" Oh, it's 10 past 9. Oh, it's almost 10 o'clock. I better go to bed. So it's a bit of a running joke at my house and with my family, but they accept that it's not. I'm not being rude. It's just my routine, and
Yeah,
um, I'm very adamant that that's something that it's important to me to to function the very next day. Yeah. So
especially I
yeah.
know, you know, coming home from a day of, say, if you PT'd throughout the day and then you got a family
Yeah.
event, you've maybe spoken with 8 different people intimately for, 45 minutes each. The urge to speak to more people afterwards is a little bit less than it would have been at the start of the day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you do really need that routine and that time to go, oh, it's bedtime, off I go.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
just
No,
potter
yeah.
off to bed.
Yeah.
I definitely found that I get home and I just sink into the couch, and I just eat my meal and I go off to bed, especially during
Yeah. Yeah.
during prep.
Yeah.
It was a lot less energy to speak to other people when I got home.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you a question. Is there anything in your prep that you found, I wanted to help you get through it? The reason why I'm asking you this is like, for me, I like going window shopping. It's one of these things where I don't know what it is about just going and looking at stuff and just it just kind of calms me a little bit. And it's like I feel like if I can do this for myself, it's fine. I like prep is easy and I can now function with the rest of my life as long as I get this little bit for myself. Was there
Yeah.
anything that you had to kind of do?
Um, s a couple of times I cooked for my entire family, like,
Yeah, okay.
like a sirloin on the bone roast, and of course, I didn't have any, or I'd, cook steaks for them on the barbecue, and I'd
Yeah,
just
okay.
serve it to them. So I sort of found, a passion in cooking for others and actually,
Yeah, okay.
that active service. Same time though, as it was like a middle ground for getting steps, but then I'd just go and graze the aisles of a Harris farm near work, and I would just look at the fresh fruit and the fresh produce, and fantasize. Oh, maybe I can try that really nice fancy pasta when I finish.
Yeah, okay.
It was never really about desserts or treats or anything like that.
Yeah.
It would be, or maybe I'll, have some enoki mushrooms this week.
Yeah.
That was a birthday treat I gave for myself during prep. I, cooked up some special mushrooms and for my vegetable meal with a protein source for dinner. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was. I would go to that Harris farm probably 3 times a week. I'd get steps in. On top of that, I'd also just be looking at the specials, and I'd normally buy stuff for other people too. So if something was on
Yeah.
special, I'd buy it for the family, come back and
Yeah,
I
right.
might cook it for them. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're not weird. You're not crazy. We all got little
Yeah.
things that
I
we
mean,
do.
well, that is,
I've
yeah.
heard the
I
shopping
mean,
thing actually quite. I've heard that a few times. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I could say the last prep that I did, the one thing, honestly, and I still got some that got tags on it. I was buying a lot of jumpers.
Mm. Is that because you
That's
had
it.
time on your hands, or
No,
why
it
do you
was,
think?
well, I've read up a little bit about this. So that's why I asked that question. It's apparently, and I don't know how true it is because you've obviously restricted in choice on obviously diet and whatnot. And, you've got your protocols that you've got to hit. It's at least something like buying things or whatnot gives you some sort of control back. So I chose jumpers, and anyone knows me, I love sneakers. So sneakers is also part of that equation. But definitely like pullovers and windbreakers were getting a big role in my cupboard. Yeah, I still have some now with tags on it. And
I'm
mind you, that
sure.
last season there was 2022 was my last prep. So you got to imagine I've still got some of those sitting in my cupboard new from 4 years back.
Yeah. Well, you only need
Anyway,
so many clothes, right? And
no, wow.
yeah,
I'm in
it's
my shorts and my World Gym hoodie half the time. So
yeah. Well, you'll be in tracksuits soon, mate.
yeah, in trackies, yeah, yeah,
It's actually funny. For the last three leg sessions, I've had just I don't know, a really off setup with my adduction
yeah,
sets, and I usually rotate between two machines, and one of them is so sticky on the skin if you don't have
yeah,
any fabric there. And
yeah.
so I think now, just out of habit, I will always perform that exercise with long pants on.
Tracksuit.
Yeah, I, I, I can't go back because then I know I'm leaving something on the table. It's like, man, you were fighting so much frictional force to get
Yeah, no, no.
those two reps, and you lost a rep from last week because you didn't set up properly. So I'm in my head about that at the moment.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. How's training going?
Training's going good. I
Yeah.
mean, to be honest, it was a little bit of struggle week one back from holidays. Um, because I trained and I mean, look, I worked around my holiday with the family while I was training. So that first week was an adjustment, but I feel like it's all coming back to kind of almost baseline. I mean, I've dropped a couple of kgs in this prep so
Mm,
far, but yeah, I've held strength and historically, my legs come in. When I say come in, they lose a little bit of mass during prep, especially through my adductors. Funny enough, um, but looking at where like some pictures now, they've held a little bit of a volume even at this point. So
yeah.
strength's good. I'm still probably hitting the same numbers, maybe a slight drop off, but not much.
Yeah. Did you train
At
a
all. Yeah.
normal layout across the week while you're away, or did that have to change a little bit?
I I think I did. I'd say I did a session less, but I made sure I hit my 2 leg days and 2 upper days.
Yeah.
And if I was going to skip stuff just because time and the holiday, it would have been just like small accessory stuff like arms or whatnot.
Okay.
But I pretty much got in all the big movements. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I find when you have a time constraint, uh, employing maybe an intensifier is a good way just to like condense it in.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and were they sort of upper sessions or was it like a push and a pull?
Yeah, all the upper sessions I did push and a pull.
Yeah.
Where the lower ones I still biased hamstring versus quads.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
that just where you got more strength in your quad size compared to your hammies?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my program at the moment is predominantly hamstring focused with some adductor. Um, my quads, I wouldn't say they're the strong point, but I feel like I can push quite hard on a quad day versus a hamstring day. Traditionally, I've always been stronger in a quad movement than hamstring, although that's kind of starting to kind of meet in the middle now.
Cool. That's good. Hopefully we see some hanging hammies for your
Fingers
season
crossed.
coming up.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in at a point with I think leg training it's pretty even, so I almost rotate a quad movement with a hamstring movement
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to
yeah,
back.
yeah,
Gives you a little bit of rest in between uh, exercises, so you're not hitting two hamstring movements back to back.
yeah,
But I still like to do hamstrings at the start of a session,
yeah,
a curl
yeah.
or some form of hamstring bias
And
movement.
it's really, yeah.
Yeah. Has anything with your mentality changed with training? Because for me, I think looking back, I could have set myself up during prep, before prep better in terms of maybe, all right, let's stop doing unnecessary intensifiers, length and partials or whatever it was. Um, is there anything like that you've changed, or is it all pretty much the same?
I think, look, it's all the same in terms of the training. I would say intensity is in style, but I think I want to say matured a little bit. I used to really get down if I missed numbers in prep. I'm like, it's starting to come down. So I think I've gone to a mentality that not every single session is going to be the level that I think I'm going to be in my head. And when I accepted that it could be better the week after, I don't know how to even describe it, Jacob. I think I used to really get down if I felt like I was getting weaker,
Mm.
because you get to this point where like you pride yourself in as a natural. Um, Fuck, I just want to cane every session. I want the intensity's got to be there. Funny enough, last week or yesterday, I trained on a pendulum, and I had a cracking session. Well, the week before, I felt like, fuck, man, this is so hard. This is the start of the prep where I start losing some strength, and then week after, and like I think because I don't overthink that scenario anymore, I'm just going to go enjoy my training. Um, it's so much better. I have
Yeah.
not put pressure on myself this prep to have to be as strong as what I think I should be every single session, if that makes sense. Yeah.
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 I
And if,
I
yeah.
was similar. I put a lot of weight on my numbers.
Yeah.
Um, Similar to how maybe you've done it previously. I put a lot of weight on my numbers, but if I say lost a rep, it would be the joy of trying to get that rep back and be
Yeah.
that grind.
Yeah.
And generally, I maintained my strength throughout. I think I remember saying to you, it did drop off right at the end because I mean I got sick at the start of my first peak week, which threw me off. And normally for me, if I get sick or like if you're away, it takes a week to get back into the
Yeah, of
rhythm of
course.
things. Like
Yeah.
you might be a rep down on a few different movements, but then you know the next week you're going to get that back just from
Yeah.
familiarization. And so I didn't get
Yeah.
that chance to reset because you know you have that drop off in training intensity.
Yeah.
You know, you don't train on the Saturday or like whatever day you compete.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I saw it sort of just went downhill from there. And I had a big identity crisis, like you were talking about. I really struggled with, like, what am I going to do? Like, my strength, it's gone, which means my muscle, it's going to go, and it's,
Yeah.
you know, sort of recentering myself to create this new goal, which was, all right, let's do as good as we can. Let's, you know, my isolation movements were still in good check. It was more the
Yeah.
compounds,
Yeah.
and like just focus on stimulus, and you're still training in a close proximity to failure.
Yeah.
And I sort of got through it, but that's definitely next time try and maintain that a bit better in that back end.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I think it's a, I wouldn't say it's a learned thing, and it was your first prep,
Mm.
and you did obviously pretty amazing. You had an undefeated season, didn't you?
Undefeated, baby.
Undefeated. So, I mean, look, it's obviously didn't affect you too much, Jacob. So,
Well, look, it's the funny thing, like you were talking about with your medals. It's almost a non. It's an insignificant thing for me to consider, like how well I did in comparison to others. It's all about, for me, my personal performance and my personal like progression.
yeah, of course.
Yeah. And it's
And
never
I,
like how am I going to compare, you
yeah,
know, oh no, I'm going to lose muscle, which means I'm going to come second instead of first. It's like no,
yeah. I
it's
mean,
more
look, I'm
about
going to ask you.
maintaining a
I want to
look.
say it's a controversial question, but you're relatively young. How old are you now? 23? Is
23.
that right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're 23, but I feel like you've got a level head in terms of your expectation and your meaning to bodybuilding. All right. And I don't want to sound like negative with what's going on and what I see, but do you find that there's people that are getting into bodybuilding, into competitions, that if it doesn't work out for them in terms of placings or even the clout that they get from it, it's almost like this is not for me? Um,
I've
do you think
heard
the
of it.
bodybuild?
I've
Yeah,
seen some situations, but this is where I've experienced a few things like this where I'm in my little circle and you know, unless I see it, it's almost like I don't believe that it's occurring or it's
yeah,
a
okay,
shock to
yeah,
me when you see it that first time you say to yourself, "Oh, I didn't truly appreciate how different other people think about things." But no, I have heard
yeah,
stories where, you know, it's the end of the world if the placing isn't where they expected or wanted.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and for me, I'm big on, you can set an objective goal and then you want to set some process orientated goals.
Yeah.
So one of mine was, okay, I want to be over 80 kilos on stage. And I achieved that. So I was like, fuck, sweet. I've done my first show and I've already ticked off like one of my goals I set 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I had that, in my head for 2 years. And there was a lot of other process related goals. Like I wanted to be as non-agitated as possible at home,
Yep.
try and
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
not let things get the best of me because I get home and I just wouldn't want to talk to anyone. Been talking to everyone all day. Just want to sit down, eat, and go to bed.
Yeah.
And it was a matter of saying, "Sorry, Dad, I just need to focus on making breakfast for tomorrow morning. I can't talk right now. I just need to do this."
Yeah.
Even though I might say it in a way that I still sound a bit, agitated or like a dick. At least I'm putting effort in to try and
Yeah. Yeah.
not be a complete dickhead.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it's about potentially people shifting their what they want to get out of it.
Yeah.
Um,
I think, and look, and I don't have social media. I don't know if it's other kind of motivated. Well, I don't even know the word that I'm trying to get here, but I don't know if there's other factors that are influencing why they're doing it in the first place. But I feel like in my time, and I'm getting like this is decades ago now, no one knew, or I didn't even know there was categories. Honestly, I'm gonna I'm gonna sound so stupid here, but I went to a show and I think the category that I watched was bodybuilding. I don't even know if I watched bodybuilding. I didn't know there was a fitness category. I didn't know there was a men's physique category. I must have just watched bodybuilding, walked out of there, said I'll do a bodybuilding show. 14 weeks later, in trunks with very little legs, no posing. And I said, I'll do bodybuilding. I'm like, but what I'm trying to say is because I had no idea and it was more about, can I do something like this? Coming last, and I've got a medal there. I should pull it out. But it's one of my favorite medals because that last place
yeah.
medal on my first show just signifies the start of the journey. But it wasn't ever about that medal. It was really about, oh shit, I can be disciplined for at least 12 weeks,
Well, how
14
did you
weeks.
personally feel after that? You didn't get what you wanted, or you didn't win which doesn't mean you didn't
Well,
get what you wanted. How did you feel after that result?
honestly, I felt like I felt like $1 million still. When I say I
Yeah.
felt like $1 million, the whole premise of that prep was I want to look like I at least belong on stage, which I think I ticked. I didn't look like I was terrible,
Mm.
but I obviously wasn't good enough to even get the place in that. I think the only person I beat that year was some guy that was about 10 years older than me at the time that didn't really look like he trained that often.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is I could have just gone, hey, this is not for me then because of that. But the reality was it was for me because it unlocked something that had never happened to me before, which was a level of discipline that I could close this is my goal. I'm going to go and do this and I'm going to achieve it. Tick. All right, let's see if I can do this again.
Mm.
And it just manifests into this now. As you said, like my lifestyle is I go to bed at 10, I'll eat these kind of meals. Like that was never me. Like if anyone ever knew me in my early 20s, and I think I've said this prior, I would say ill discipline. Um,
Okay.
I don't have what I am now is totally a different person in terms
Mm.
of that level of commitment to something. And mind you, it's been 20 odd years since I've started this kind of
Yeah.
journey. So, but it's still to me proves that anyone can make a change. And when I say it's never, oh no, I started my first comp. I was 33, so you're 23, so you're already 10 years ahead of the game. You're
Mm.
winning shows at 23. I'm getting into it, finishing dead last.
Yeah.
But
Well,
again,
I, I can
yeah,
I can trace back my initial sort of spark to pursue something
yeah,
from reading David Goggins' book, which for him the whole purpose, I could just really summarize this down in very simple terms, is to do something very challenging for the pursuit of growth.
Yeah.
So I went through a phase of trying to figure out what was that for me. Uh, Initially, I was playing soccer. I thought I can play soccer at a decent level, but not competitively enough for it to be challenging.
Yeah.
I would have got to a level where maybe team trainings would have been 3 times per week. Everyone's still sort of, they're not treating themselves like a professional athlete. Maybe
Yeah.
some of them are treating themselves like a semi to professional level, but most are probably just under that semi level. So for me, that wasn't where my gold laid. But I then looked into, oh, maybe I do triathlons like Goggins. So I tried that. I thought, oh, this could be all right. And thought about weightlifting as well, Olympic lifting.
Yeah.
And then just through getting into the gym and training, I just started to see my body change. I thought, maybe I can be good at this. Supposedly, bodybuilding is quite hard. Uh, Let me give this a go. And that was sort of how it transpired for me.
Yeah. Right.
So maybe we're gonna put this link of David Goggins' book in the in the description and get people to watch that. But it was truly,
Yeah.
him sort of explaining, okay, for me, I like to run 100 kilometers. When I've got a broken leg, and that pursuit of doing something that's incredibly difficult for most people, unfathomable. I'm going to learn something somehow along the way about myself
Yeah.
and how I can then apply that to other things in life. That's really how I look at bodybuilding for me,
Yeah.
as a very philosophical way. Of course, I still love the training, like to my heart's content, and the posing, presentation, and the whole process
Yeah.
in itself. But at a very general, overarching sense, that's how I sort of like to think of it.
Do you find that even the bodybuilding and obviously even in that and not enhanced and natural actually,
Mm.
do you find that even the lifestyle that you live, and obviously a lot of us, and you mentioned BK's wide probably the same way, is would you say that it's, I wouldn't say a badge of honor, it's the wrong term, but do you find, fuck, I can do stuff that like, you could live this life. I'm just assuming that you could live this lifestyle for a very long time and not
Mm.
really have to deviate too far from it. And I could too. But you think it's like, it's almost like, shit, like I can keep doing this and people can't. And do you almost like, going, shit, this is honestly like, as it challenging, but it is challenging for most looking at it. But I'm assuming you don't find it challenging.
No, there's
Yeah.
definitely
Okay.
many
Yeah.
aspects that, for me, it's you get to a point where you truly want to do something. It's
Yeah.
definitely not challenging. I really love going to bed to get a certain amount of sleep because it makes me feel great,
Yeah.
and it makes me train really well. And I really love
Yeah.
training. And if my
Yeah.
training performance isn't good, I'm going to be really pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's sort of how the cookie
Yeah.
crumbles in a sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, but like I said before, so it takes a little bit for people to be okay with making that choice.
Yeah.
I know it did for
And,
me.
and so with that question, I'm going to give you a question. I feel like I'm also wanting to pick your brain a little bit. At what point, again, you're kind of, if someone called you a bodybuilder, do you accept it?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Hey,
I don't
cool.
get too
Uh,
fussed. I don't
no,
get too
the
fussed.
reason why I asked that, it took me a while to accept that I was a bodybuilder.
Okay.
Yeah. When I say accept that, I felt like, oh, am I a bodybuilder? Like, yeah, I like to train and I eat a certain way. I think more recently, I'm like, yeah, no, I am. I live that lifestyle.
Mm.
But I think I almost feel like I had to have a few more runs on the board to accept that.
You had to have
I wouldn't say the
accolades.
word, yeah, well, not even accolades, but I'd like, yeah, a little bit of the accolades also that I have enough of the street cred,
Yeah.
uh, that I am a bodybuilder. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of people that say, oh, I'm a bodybuilder. But are you? Like, I know you don't need to step on stage ever, but
Yeah.
I think that that genuine nuance of eat, sleep, and train, recover mentality of a bodybuilder is totally different to someone that likes to train for bodybuilding.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think if someone's thinking like you, they're probably a bodybuilder because they've got the ability to, self-reflect and, weigh up the situation. Am I actually a bodybuilder or am I not? Whereas
Yeah.
maybe other people that have never thought about it in that way, maybe they're the
Yeah.
ones that are potentially maybe pushing the boundaries of what a bodybuilder truly is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. We've had a few conversations about this and a few laughs. People, hobby builders, uh, people that like to look jacked and lean and then love to go for a good rave. Got nothing wrong with it. You
Yeah.
could still compete. You could still be a bodybuilder, but the way that maybe they go about their lifestyle isn't necessarily status quo or
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
line with what general bodybuilding parameters might be.
Yeah.
Uh, but again, if you're really sensitive about certain people calling themselves a bodybuilder or not, I'd definitely say have a hard look at yourself. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
people can do what they want and they
No,
can.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like what would you consider people have to tick off to say I'm a bodybuilder? What's that criteria for you?
I think it's got to be a focus of every single action. This is going to, the actions that they live their life by goes towards the physique they're trying to build, right? So if you say you're a bodybuilder, but your general nutritional adherence is pretty poor, you're not really tracking, you're not even track. Let's be honest, these guys aren't even tracking their performance numbers.
Yeah.
They're free balling workouts, right? They won't get their proper sleep because they're out at night and they really consider that sleep. And some of these people will get away with it and they're a little bit younger and
Mm,
whatnot. But at some point, your recovery is going to tank if you're not really
yeah.
looking at it. I think what I'm trying to say is your central point of your lifestyle towards bodybuilding, or is your lifestyle revolved around bodybuilding? There's two different things there. You're living as a bodybuilder or living your life with bodybuilding as part
Mm,
of it. Yeah.
yeah.
So
I
I
think
think
that's a
there's
good
there's got to be
distinction.
two different. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. And it's not to say that. I mean, this may be another good question.
Yeah.
Should you make bodybuilding fit your life or make your life fit bodybuilding?
I think it depends on what part of your life you're at and
Hmm.
also what you want to get out of bodybuilding. So
True.
I'll give you context why I say that. So I'm prepping this year and I've prepped many times now. But I think I'm on the latter side of this. I'm trying to make bodybuilding fit into my lifestyle. I say that because I feel like, and now this is going to be the honest part is, I feel like some of the relationships I had my last prep, I didn't have that as a top priority because I had this goal that I'm going to get a natural Olympia. I'm going to just try to tear it up there. I want to be one of the top level guys there, etc., etc. I didn't want to acknowledge that I was potentially putting that ahead of the people around me.
Mm,
Um, and now I'm prepping, and I think you hit a spot on earlier. Is I want to make sure that if I'm going to go home, I'm not going to be that grumpy guy because I'm choosing to do this. Yeah. I'm not going to say, hey, you need to support me because I'm prepping. No, they don't. They also have their life. So I think in terms of where I am in this part of bodybuilding, yes, I'm a bodybuilder, but I'm also now trying to live my life around bodybuilding with the goal of still being a bodybuilder on top of it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a
I
really
hope that, I
important
hope that makes
distinction.
sense. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it did
Yeah.
because I think some people might try to make bodybuilding everything that they're about, and I think there's phases that you need to go through, and you might need to
Yeah.
go through a phase like that to appreciate the other aspects of life and how it doesn't need to consume you
Yep.
like, like it might. And you
Yep.
can still achieve fantastic results to arguably maybe the same degree as making bodybuilding your life.
Yep.
Maybe, if we're talking about the enhanced guys at the Olympia, they might, make things a little bit more to bodybuilding's their life, which in most cases it is. But
Yeah, of
for
course. Yeah.
most other people, you getting your steps in isn't going to be a challenge. Getting cardio in, if you need to do that, isn't going to be a challenge. You should be able to,
Yeah.
fit in your sessions throughout the week. Uh, there's so many easy ways to prep your meals accordingly. You can still track to reasonably high degrees of accuracy when you're out. You just got to
Yeah,
pick
of
the right
course.
foods on the menu, and it's like things like that to where you can start to create this bodybuilding fitting your life situation. And is there anything else for you that you're particularly trying to hone in or incorporate to make it fit your life?
No, I think I've lived, and it's just funny enough, I've lived that. If I can be honest, prep hasn't felt like I'm prepping yet, from the pure fact that I was living that lifestyle
Hmm.
already. Like the only distinguish is now if the parents, my family's going out to dinner, I'm not really getting any of those meals. Like let's just say they're going to a burger joint or even sushi place because it's hard to kind of track those roles. It's now that part where I'm just separating myself from that. But prior to that, I'm still getting pretty much the same amount of steps. My splits are pretty much the same. I'm probably having the same breakfast. I'm probably having the same lunch. It's now that degree of accuracy has now been dialed up to 100,
Yeah.
where it was at 95% before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like
And
the
if I
sauces come
miss my,
out and if you're a 50
yeah,
step or if you're 150 off, you're like, yeah, it's not going to
yeah,
be the end
yeah,
of the world, that sort of thing.
it's not the end of the world. So in that sense, the only thing I'm honing in is accuracy, where it's a pretty simple switch to flick when you're already living that lifestyle. I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest part too when people do prep is, and this is why pre-prep's important. And this is in coaching is, hey, get your lifestyle in check. Like I didn't do pre-prep. Brandon's like, you start on Boxing Day. Sure, be kind.
It's like, let's make
Yeah,
this process seamless. It's just a matter
yeah,
of cutting the cows by whatever you need to get the rate of loss going.
to get yeah, yeah,
It's
uh,
so underrated, so underrated. And
yeah,
you 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 could be training for 10 years and putting training and all that aside, you still mightn't have the skills to have high degrees of nutritional literacy, nutritional adherence and
yeah.
tracking. And you still mightn't have the lifestyle components in check too. So, yes, you might be training, you might have an extensive history of training, however, that still doesn't give you the the key to the city to start a prep.
Yeah,
I think, a lot of times we want to meet the athlete where they're at, but
yeah,
for some people you're like, I'd really love just at least 6 months with you just to dial everything up, you know, take you through a little bit of a recomp phase, fat loss phase to make
yeah,
sure you understand that, we need to weigh things raw. We need to weigh not things in cooked weight, like it's raw weight
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and little things like
yeah,
that it just get overlooked. And, you might forget as a coach to go, oh, I need to be specific about that for that person. Uh,
yeah,
because a lot of times, like I was talking about before, I'm in my little circle, you've got your circle, and sometimes
yeah,
we need to go, oh shit, I need to be specific about that. Otherwise, it's just going to fly over
yeah.
the individual's head.
It's
Like I can call you
yeah,
on one
and
thing because I spoke with B about this.
yeah.
Is Brandon forgot to be specific around you taking scales over while you're away, putting aside the
I did bring it though.
logistics. Oh, you
I
did
did
bring
bring
them?
it.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
did bring them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Putting aside the logistics, which I do know there is, you can get these these scales that are like,
Yeah.
sort of this big, and
Yeah. Yeah.
your foot sort of hangs over the front and back. I need
Oh,
to get a pair of
sorry.
those.
Sorry.
Well,
Different
sorry,
scales. I thought you were
body
talking about.
weight scales.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought food scales. I brought food scales. Yeah.
yeah. And you know that each body weight
Yeah.
scale's slightly
Yeah.
different,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this would have
Yeah.
been a
Yeah.
lapse of
Yeah.
Brandon could have been specific about it, but then you as well. Like I've done the same thing where during peak week, I left my scales at home,
Yeah.
which look isn't the end of the world. You can still get a lot of information visually, but it's handy to have
Yeah.
just another tool in the
Yeah.
toolbox.
Yeah.
But yeah, even the elite can, or the really high level of experience that someone like yourself can, things can just slip the mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I
I think in
remember
my mind, I'm like, yeah.
that it
So
was going to
good.
be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever hear the story about uh I think it was for the natural games, some competition Nathan Wallace was competing at, and
That would have been the nationals. Yeah.
yeah, some nationals competition in Canberra, I think,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah. It was a pro show.
he somehow completely uh fucked up the booking for his flights.
Oh, I think I did. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it was, yeah, he got tanned, on the day, a couple of hours before. It was all super close. It was almost, he got off the plane uh straight to the show,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
into
Yeah.
the tanning booth, out of the tanning booth, walks onto stage.
Still
Which,
won.
yeah, exactly. So, how much did it matter? Yeah.
Yeah.
We can debate
Maybe
that,
I.
but like little things like that, it just slips our mind. So, when I was in prep, I
No.
was like, right, like got the flights in front of me. I'm looking at them 10 times. Okay. The time and checking the date with the
Yeah.
calendar, making
Well,
sure everything's ticked
it's
off.
yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, it's. I think and back to your point in terms of like living that lifestyle, but with people trying to get like a little bit of time with people that you want to get on stage, I find there's a little bit of a culture where people are trying to find coaches just for the prep rather than any sort of like structure prior to that. And I would say that I've actually now stopped taking people on that just want to do the prep with me. I said, look, I need a little bit more time to know you, what makes you tick. And then most of the clients I've done really well in shows, I've worked longer with and I've had a process. And I've noticed for a while, and I think I've now made the decision that I will not take less, well, not less experienced people, people that I have worked not a long duration with, and it's just has to have prior relationship before I put them on stage, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not just the 22 weeks or whatnot. Yeah.
Like I can hear there's obviously a bit of nuance in
Yeah, of
person to
course. Yeah.
person there for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many times have you said to someone, look, like you said, I need more time. You can probably find someone else that will do this for you, but
Yeah.
I want the best result for you. Like, how many times have you had to say that to someone?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had someone, I went in, I wouldn't obviously say names, but I remember our check-in. He's in person and he's like, okay, I'm ready for season A. I'm like, oh, season A? Like, who's told you that? Like, when did we make that decision? Did you just make that decision because you're not ready? And it was like a 1 or 2 weeks later, we had another check-in and it wasn't brought up, but I get this message saying, hey, I don't think I'm going to coach with you anymore. I'm going to kind of do my own thing and blah, 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 blah. I've recently seen this person and they're prepping for this season, the season that I said they weren't ready for yet. So they've either on their own back going to prep, or they found someone that said, yes, I'll prep you.
Mm. When you say not
Yeah.
ready, what different variables are you considering?
Certain areas for the category was underdeveloped.
Okay. So
Um,
this individual wanted to compete in a certain category and they just weren't
yeah,
quite there. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no. There's definitely time required for certain areas in development. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
important. You know, for me, I wanted to get on the bodybuilding stage. So straight away, I was
Yeah.
like, right, I'm going to need like, at least 2 years to be competitive to ensure I've got enough size and bring
Yeah.
up, the gaps that were definitely more apparent previously.
Yeah.
And so, having an ideal scenario in front of you is important, and then going, all right, like, how long do I need to actually achieve this?
Yeah.
Because it's cool to actually put time in and effort, create something that you've said you're going to do, and then execute, rather
Yeah.
than, oh, I
100%.
want to do this, and you just do it, and not necessarily, put in the time and build and progress in more than just your physical facet. But yeah, for
Yeah.
me it was like, okay, like, let me spend 2 years, let me see what I can do. For some people it might be 1 year if they want to do like men's fitness or something where you don't have to be as big and
Yeah.
muscular. So
Mm.
if you want to get on stage for certain reasons a bit earlier, that's might be
Yeah.
after the
Sure.
decision
Yeah.
you have to make. Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you
I,
find that there's more people like leaning into the fitness category for that reason, that it's like a timely thing for the bodybuilding side of things?
I think, and you know this from a standard perspective now, like the game's like wild. When I say the game's wild, you got fitness guys that are really like relatively muscular with good conditioning. Some of these men's physique guys are borderline some bodybuilders in short. So I think now, because the game is so good, that even if you're not remotely developed, fitness is going to be um, your first entry point. Like
Yeah.
if I can look at my physique from when I first started, no way, I'm not a bodybuilder. You should throw me into the fitness category, right? But I didn't know that. I was too naive to think that. But there's coaches now, and the coaching is different. There's more information out there. Um, but I think people are leaning into those categories. Two parts too, right? Some people want to do, say, men's physique, but they've got a better chance of getting the result, or a pro card, for example, in fitness. So they may bite the bullet first and get the wins there, and then move up, which is also the smart thing, like, honestly. But look, it's individual thing. Do you just want to jump the gun and go into the category that you want to?
Mm.
Or, yeah. And this is a question too. Like, you'll see classic physique. Like, people want to go to classic. Do some of the guys in there, are they classic in shape? Maybe not. But they want to pose classic, and they want to hit the Arnold 3/4. They want to, cool, go for it. But do you necessarily fit that category? Maybe not, but I'm glad that you're doing it, because at least you're, putting attention to natural bodybuilding, and also that category. So, I mean, as I said, people should do what they want. Um, but still, there's a level of, what's the expectation when you do that?
Yeah. Here's a bit of
Yeah.
a question.
Yeah.
If you were to have your own show, what
Yeah.
categories would you include and exclude?
Ooh. From a natural standpoint,
Yeah.
I would like to include, I'll do the include first, female bodybuilding. So,
Hmm.
because that's dropped off.
Yeah.
So there's none of that. And I feel like there's people that probably, I'm not sure if they want to do that, but I feel like they should reintroduce that. Um,
It's given the name of Fit Body in WMBF. Is that correct?
Potentially, but
Yeah.
it used to be called women's physique.
I think there's different reiterations of it. I'm not sure
Yeah.
why. Like, they just don't
Yeah.
have, same for male and
Yeah.
female.
I don't think I'd exclude anything. I don't think.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be, in the IFBB, there's like obviously the fit model. I don't know. That's just kind of like another layer of bikini. But I think from a natural standpoint, I'm okay with all the categories.
Mm.
I
Mm.
think I'd like to see weight category come back into bodybuilding, maybe
Okay.
even classic. Um, possibly. But that's in terms of the overall categories. Yeah, I don't think I'd exclude anything yet.
I
Yeah.
think that
Would you?
in some cases, yes.
Yeah.
However, I
Which ones?
see the flip side.
Yeah.
Ideally, if I was creating my own show, I'd have for the men, I'd have bodybuilding, classic, and men's physique, and that
Yep.
would be it for men's. So
Okay.
it's
Yep.
similar to the IFBB. And then
Yeah.
for women, I go women's bodybuilding, figure,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then bikini and wellness. I kind of
Yeah.
like both bikini and wellness because some females are so heavy in their lower body in terms of
Love it. Yeah.
dominance, and so like it
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
suit some people's physiques. The reason I've
Yeah.
excluded the other men's categories is for some people, if you just spend a little bit more time, you're probably going to be able to do men's physique, classic, or bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Um, if you spend a bit more time in the ringer, and it's also because I just love the pure sport,
Yeah.
and I'd love to see, even though you might be an individual who can't put on stacks of muscle comparatively, that's okay. If you put your time, if you put the time in and you get, absolutely shredded, fantastic. You might look a bit smaller, but that just might be, it is what it is. But then I
Yeah.
do see the side where, okay, um, fit body, no, what's it called? Men's fitness
Fit model.
is
Oh, men's
fit
fitness.
model.
So yeah.
Men's fitness,
Yeah.
where men's fitness,
Yeah.
acts as like a stepping stone. Like you've seen guys do men's fitness, then they do classic. And I think that's good.
Yeah.
It gives people a bit more of a closer target to reach, right? Some
Yeah. Yeah.
people wouldn't be able to rationalize spending a whole 2 years in just an off-season phase, in a gaining phase, and then might consider competing. It's a little bit hard for some
Yeah.
people to rationalize. So I think it's a
Yeah.
good idea to have that in. But for me, if I was making my own show, that would be how I do it.
Yeah.
And here's a little bit of a
Yeah.
side question, unless you've got something you want to say
No,
there.
no, go ahead. No.
Uh, are you drinking any soft drinks, sugar-free drinks at the moment?
Pepsi Max.
You're a Pepsi guy
Yeah.
over Coke?
Yeah. The too much information, but Coke makes my number two a little bit funnier.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And
funny.
then mind you, I at one point I always like telling this. So my mum had worked for Coke pretty much the whole time she was employed in Australia. So
Yeah,
from when we moved to Australia to when she retired, she
endless
had worked
supply
for
of Coke.
Coke. Yeah. So at one point before Coke Zero was even available, I could scull a 2 liter bottle of Coke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a Coke guy.
Yeah. Okay.
I
No, I don't mind it. It's
Yeah,
just that fact that it messes a little bit with my
it got.
stool. But so Pepsi Max is it.
I'm playing an experiment with Monster at the moment.
You are.
Monster energy
Okay.
drinks. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I was having them sort of every day, for a bit, maybe a week or two, or a little bit less.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, my stool was pretty good, a few weeks ago. So I've taken them out, and I'm just
Yeah.
having
Okay. Yeah.
black coffee.
Yeah.
And I've already noticed an improvement 2 days in. So I'm going to go for another 4 or 5. I'm going to add the Monster back in for a couple of days and see
And
if that
see.
makes a
Okay. Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny how
Nice.
we even notice these little things as well. It's like, oh yeah, my digestion was a little bit off. How can I make that better?
Well, that's the thing, right? And I don't know. It's the well. This is why you're a bodybuilder, right? You kind of hyper analyze certain things. Like, what did I change? What's
Yeah.
happened? Like, you could always, because you're so consistent, and I'm saying us as in terms of your day to day. As soon as a variable changes, you can pinpoint it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of even like and BK says this a lot, and you know this from check-ins. Like soon as you take away any layers of or degree of kind of guesswork and have clarity on things that are happening, then you can obviously make adaptations and changes that would be predictable in its result.
Mm.
Uh, so
You
I
can
think
just
that's the
push and
kind of
pull so much easier, right? If you know your
exactly.
athlete
Yeah.
is, or if you know your sleep's in check, your nutrition's in check, you're getting,
Yeah.
whatever your minimum steps are, cardio, whatever it is, if that's all
Yeah.
in check, and you're like, I'm still progressing with my lats, but they're just not growing as much as maybe I'd
Yeah.
like. Let me add one set in and see what
Yeah.
happens for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then maybe 8 weeks later, like, I'm still progressing really, really well. Let me keep going for a little bit longer. And you're like, oh, I'm going to add another set in. It's like
Yeah.
just one set can make a massive difference if everything else is in just a state of equilibrium. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I was
I think it's
surprised.
yeah.
Pepsi?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, I should pour one out. I've got one. I got a bottle right there.
Yeah. I just like
Yeah.
Coke's got a much stronger flavor for me.
Yeah.
But then I get the caffeine
So,
decaf version.
so we were just in Japan, and in Vietnam it's easy to get Pepsi. So there's different flavors and what, but in Japan it's actually quite hard to find Pepsi Max. So even in the KFC, they would have full strength Pepsi, no Pepsi Max. So as soon as I found a little supermarket or convenience store that had Pepsi, I'd bought 6 straight away, put in the fridge in the hotel room.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, during my last prep, I had Pepsi with a hint of lemon. So I don't know, they've discontinued it in Australia. But in Japan, they had it. So I'm like, this is
Oh,
the best thing ever. So
nice.
I was always with Pepsi in hand,
Have you been to
for
Japan
sure.
before?
That was the first time.
How was it?
And it was great. I mean, when I say it was great, I enjoyed it for everything that I could enjoy it for outside of the food.
You're gonna have to go back, man.
No, it's on the cards. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely on the cards. Yeah. It's such a, I wouldn't say a complex place. There's a lot to discover. And I think once you do all the touristy stuff, then I think it also opens you up to go, okay, what else is around here that you
Mm.
don't necessarily have to find on TikTok to do. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I really loved that I did while I was there was she rode around on a bike in the countryside, like just through rice fields.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a
Yeah.
pretty picturesque countryside, and
Yeah.
the thing I like about going on holidays is getting in these situations where like maybe you don't know where you are or something weird happens and you end up, striking a conversation or getting into some situation where you get helped out by a local for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And we got lost. I tried to talk to this one Japanese gentleman. Mind you, we're in rural Japan. Zero English. I was like, okay. I was trying to, uh, play a train noise to him to try and direct us towards the train station. But then out of the blue, this lady just pulls over and says, hey, are you guys trying to go to the train station? And then she drives us to the train station and we'd follow her on our bikes. And we're like, how cool was that? And then, we went out for dinner one night, and as the Japanese do, they love their sake, and they were going absolutely crazy, and we got into a little bit of a funny exchange of conversation. But just being in that different space and having those cool little moments where you wouldn't be able to normally get into. That's what
Yeah.
love holidays about.
No, I mean, look, this is one thing that I've actually set in my goals at the start of the year is travel at least 3 destinations this year. So I at the start of the year, I write down many things that I need to achieve, not necessarily achieve, but these are the things that I would like to accomplish in the year.
Is that why
These
you
are
want to come
my,
to Bali?
well, it's also one. And I also have said that I've got to start. I want to say start doing things. I like, and we talked about this offline. Is yeah, I could think of these a million scenarios of what I need to do and what could potentially hinder this goal that I've got. But that big go to Bali and experiencing this natural bodybuilding summit is also something that, hey, this is something that's the first time it's happening in Bali. And it's like, this also, do I want to miss out on that and feel that experience because of this other experience I want to get? So, in short, I think I'm going to stop thinking about this because it may not happen the way I think it happens, because I'm just going to enjoy the bodybuilding summit
Yeah.
and then move on to the next thing once that's done. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it comes down to what you want out of it, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
If you were someone that's like, oh, I want to do the absolute best, and it's like it wouldn't be, maybe it wouldn't be the right choice. But
Yeah.
I will your result be significantly altered by, doing the summit? I don't know. Hard question to answer.
Yeah. I actually think, and this is the way not the way I think, but I know me as, because I've ticked that box, and I've done things that I potentially wanted to achieve. It sometimes gives me that level of, oh shit, cool. And then I almost get hyped up about it, and almost, I want to say it invigorates me, but I feel like it'll put me on a high that I perform better on this day that I have in my mind.
Yeah.
I think it will set the tone for that week, if that makes sense.
It could, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
are you okay to talk about the shows you're thinking about doing?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Look,
Um,
I don't post a lot online about what I'm doing, but I'm not keeping it a secret either. So yeah, that's
yeah.
fine.
What I know you said to me you were going to do, well, potentially do WNBF in
Yeah.
Melbourne.
So I've thrown a spanner in BK's check-ins and said, "Hey, what do you think?" Which would be 6 weeks earlier than the initial first date of the 12th of July, which is there's that guy there. The
Yeah, there's
IFBB
young Peter.
Naturals. Yeah, yum. And then it will be the Pro Qualifier IFBB Naturals, which is on the 26th of July.
Yep.
And potentially, depending on I wouldn't say my mood or how much I want to prolong the prep, but potentially the OCB
Okay.
in Ipswich, the
Yeah, because you're just
30th of
outside
August.
season C near the old season B, aren't you?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
It's a shame.
So they're
Couldn't be.
the
Well, I mean,
shows.
you can still
Yeah,
do the WNBF show, which is good.
yeah.
Dip your toes in there. Yeah.
So, yeah. So that'll be it. And I think if I do relatively well at the OCB, and maybe keep that in mind to maybe run it into a Jordan Cup. I'd obviously do it as the idea on that is run as a master, because I'll be 46 this year.
Yeah.
Um,
That'd be cool.
so
I know.
yeah,
I am just aware of time, Pete. You say 6?
yeah, you're good. Yeah,
Okay.
6. Yeah,
Um, yeah, I find it strange, but maybe there's something going on in the background. But why you see only some guys compete with the OCB, right? And they've got fantastic physiques. The gentleman that won the OCB Classic last year,
yeah,
incredible.
unbelievable. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
unbelievable. It's like, why doesn't he go and do WNBF? Go up against Babacar in bodybuilding. That would be unbelievable to see. And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe the OCB are paying him, or like, I don't know, if can you compete with other feds in OCB Pro? I'd assume
I
so.
don't know. We're gonna have to ask Mr. Schubert about
Yeah,
that.
mate, we're apparently due for a session in Bertroflex.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, it's a cool
Yeah, but
setup he's got there.
I don't know. It's yeah, I have no idea. Unless there's a level of what's the word I'm looking for?
You know what it maybe is?
Yeah, go
Timeline
ahead.
and prize money.
Oh, 100%, because it's
Yeah.
obviously got what was that? Yeah, obviously the prize money is 10K US for
Mm.
first place. Yeah.
And you're not imagine trying to extend a prep from, what is it, July or August
An
to
incident has been detected in the building.
November.
Please prepare to evacuate and wait for
that. Well, that also makes sense. But do you then run it back? I don't know if this guy's going to run it back again, but do you think, well, if I've already achieved the highest status in OCB, do I go see how I go against Babacar?
I would be messaging Babacar and saying, let's do something.
Please prepare to evacuate
really cool
and wait further instructions.
And line up a prep at the OCB or Worlds. It honestly doesn't matter. I'd just like to see both of them up on stage. Yeah. Mate, did another fight break out at your gym or something? What's going on?
No, can you hear it? I think there's another fire evacuation. So I may need to wrap it up. I'm gonna get out.
It could be a fire, or maybe someone started a fire as they've got into a tussle, old mate.
But potentially.
Yeah. All right, man.
Very good.
I'll let you evacuate, and
that was fun.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Very good. All right. Catch up.
See you, man.